Hi, everybody. God bless you. So the world's changing. More and more young women are pursuing education, including higher education. And I have to ask myself, how is this going to affect marriages, family development, birth rates, and so forth? It doesn't look like the young women are wanting to back down and just choose being a homemaker and completely skip the educational process. And their families, their mothers and fathers don't want them to either. But will men be able to adapt and mate and create stable families with these new educated women? That's the question. You know, education is important and it reduces the overall birth rates in the world. You know, on a farm, the roosters like the chicks that run slow, and it's not that different with the human family either. So my thought is that there will be some men that adapt. Yes, they'll be able to marry educated women. They'll be educated themselves and they'll create harmony where each partner has the lead in different subjects or different areas that have to do with the household and family management. Some men will flee. They'll flee to countries where the overall educational level for girls is lower and they'll feel more comfortable. It'll be a more familiar arrangement. And some women who do not marry will end up going into leadership positions, community management, and it's not true that they're going to die alone or, just, be completely alone. There's so many ways to fill social needs, even if you don't have children and a husband. There's many different ways. So I think that that's what we're going to see. Do I encourage young women from not pursuing an education? Well, I mean, you have to seriously consider whether you want to have a family or not. Some degree of education is certainly important because not all marriages are stable. And as women before you have already said, if he leaves or if you leave because it's impossible to continue together, you have to be able to make a living, not just for yourself, but for your family. So I think we're going to see some changes. You know, it's funny, in my life, I did have different men that were interested in me. And I was frustrated. Why is this marriage proposal not coming? And by contrast, my special needs sister, who's visually and hearing impaired, she got marriage proposals right away because she was more controllable because of her condition. And of course, she's got a good heart. She's a sweet woman. She became a homemaker and a mother. But the educated woman, that was me, I was a bit more of a challenge. And sometimes I know it's a negative, but men kind of like women who they can deceive a little bit, because life is very challenging and having that edge works to their benefit. It's kind of a safety insurance. So anyway, I found that education made me harder to mate with. And one time I got really super frustrated and there was a gentleman that was very interested in me and I decided to try what I always resisted, dumbing myself down. But it actually worked. I got the marriage proposal. Now, I didn't take the marriage proposal, but I remember I was interacting with him. And I just, out of frustration, I used a Minnie Mouse voice. And I said, "Does Daddy want me to go bouncy bounce on his big giant stallion stick?" And it did something to the reptilian brain. He loved it. And that interaction produced a marriage proposal. Now, we don't want young women to degrade themselves or do silly experiments like this, but there's something to learn from this. What is it? Let's tease it apart and analyze it. God bless you.